Hi and welcome to How to Use CAD. I'm Tom Norris, and in today's tutorial we're going to focus on getting you up to speed with hatching. Using the hatch fill tools for filling in shapes is easy enough, but when it comes to hatching areas and awkward shapes, that's where the difficulties lie. So sit back and let me show you how easy it is to hatch. I have to tell you that I was using CAD for maybe a year or so before I got around to learning about shapes. Easy enough on the basic, squares and circles and so on to fill them. So if you're pretty new, I can just make sure you absolutely do know. So there's a variety of ways of filling or hatching these items, but for simplicity's sake, it's generally done through here, as in selecting a hatch, or you can take the long way around, which is to double click and pick a hatch from here, and that'll get it done. If you want to change the color of the hatch, no problem. So as you can see, doing set shapes is pretty simple. That would apply to squares, rectangles, that sort of thing. Just click, go up here to the properties, pick another fill. Again, if you want to change the color, you can do it by double clicking. And here you go in and change the color in here. Again, some of these fills you'll be able to change the size and the scale, so you can play around with it if you don't know. But anyway, that's not the real focus on this lesson. The real focus on this lesson is about shapes, is not shapes, but areas, because areas is where the difficulty lies. So, for example, if we wanted to take the outline here and then fill it, how would you approach it? We could, I know the popular way when I was younger was to modify. So we can try that and see how that works out. So we go to Object Trim, and you grab one of the items and kill off. Then you deselect, go to Modify again, Object Trim, pick the other item, the second half, and there you go, you got the shape. Well, you still can't fill because two items are separate. It's not a one whole unit. So what you have to do before you can fill then is again go to Modify, join Polyline, and don't forget to click on Finish. And only now do you have a complete fillable area. That could be on a color. Could be on a hatch. So it's whatever you want it to be, but either way, at least now you know how to do it. Put it back on the hatch. Right, so that's one way of doing it. It's an irregular shape, you've managed to hatch it. What about doing it a simpler way, which is the one that most people don't know? Well, not most people, but a lot of people don't know. So for that now, I could pop down here again using the Modify, and I go to 2D Boolean Operations, Add. I click, and it's one shape, just with one click. And to make it even easier, watch what happens when I select it for hatching. So now the difference between the Boolean and using plain modify is about 10 moves. So this is much quicker way to do it. Now, do you want me to do that again? Let me wind it back. I know you're going to play the video back and forth, but either way, I always enjoy using it, especially after using modify. So down here at the bottom, you've got 2D Boolean. Always use the add for this move. Select, makes it into one big shape, and then of course use the select tool, fill, color. Right, so the joining using the Polyline tool, that's also something, I know we've used it up there, but that's a brilliant step forward for loads of people, just to be able to join a few objects using the Polyline. And I mean, we can redo another one of these just for emphasis, for modifying object trim. Take out a piece in the middle. This time I'm not using the select tools. I wanted to see if it would change, and it didn't. So fine, bear with me. Now modify, object trim, take out the other half. So yeah, it's these two tools. It's to join the Polyline. So I mean, again, just emphasize here. Modify, join Polyline, and don't forget to finish. Now you've got a fillable object. There you go. So yeah, so join Polyline. So what have we covered? We've covered here modify using the modify and join Polyline. We've covered Boolean, which is an excellent tool because it's much quicker. And this one we've put in a few extra lines to show you that it's not just a question of 2 objects. You can actually do 20 objects here, or 20 bits and pieces, and join them all together with the join Polyline. So the join Polyline tool is excellent. Right. So what about part hatching? This is a tool that's less familiar for loads of people. Part hatching. Well, part hatching is where you hatch just part of the drawing. So for example, if I just wanted to hatch this bit and not the rest, or if I wanted to have 3 different colors in there, would you know how to do it? Well, I do, and to demonstrate, I've added the hatch tool group to my tool palette. I've also got it here. Oh no, I've taken it out actually. It's here instead. So normally you might be able to find it in over on this side. Here you go. And if you grab it, you can take it out. So there you are. So generally speaking, there's 2 elements. So if you select, that's first element is for selecting the type of hatch you want. So if we just select that, and then we go up here and we select that as the hatch, and then this one is the one for applying it. So this one is selection, this is for application. And so watch what happens. How simple is that? Let's try it again over here. Okay, so this is part hatching. It's where you hatch part of the graphic or part of the shape. You want to change what you're hatching with. Change it to a color. Then apply it. Is that not beautiful? So part hatching is an absolute key tool, and I suggest you add it to your palette here. Keep it down because it's something you should use lots of. And it's also over here on the left hand side. Not hard to find. If you need to, go on up. If you want to add it to your pop-up toolbar palette. So we're going to go hatching A, B, C, D, E, F, there. So now it'll be on my right hand side when there you go, it's here. So now it's part of this group of tools. Right, so hopefully there's a lot of you watching this who watch this will have learned how to do this in earnest. So the next one is, so let's just place that aside. Next one is hatching with the split tool. Split tool, I found that weird when I was playing with that, but it's a very effective piece of kit. So what happens if I want to, let's just say I want to take out a section and I want to hatch. So I want to take this out. I want to hatch this area only, that shape. At the moment, if I hatch now, it'll hatch all of it. So let's assume I want to hatch 3/4 of the circle. I want to knock this one. So for that one, I'm going to have to split. I'll get the split tool. Circle. There you go. So we see you've got two little crosses there. What I've actually done there now is I have taken that out. Now, isn't that mad? So now watch what happens when I apply the hatching. Isn't that beautiful? Very simple. So again, the split hatching tool is an extremely useful tool for doing bits and pieces. So what have we learned? Hatching oddities, that's coming, but we all know the shapes, then the areas, with Boolean operations, with a polyline, part hatching with the hatch tool, that's brilliant. And now I've shown you how to hatch with the split tool. So the last one is oddities. So oddities could be anything. So I drew these earlier, and let me just draw a few curves here. So how do you make a copy of that? And again, there's about half a dozen different ways. To save you and me a little time, I just went for an old-fashioned copy and paste. Now if I want to fill this area, I'm going to start using the polyline again. So before I do that, I need to join these bits up, and then I need to modify with the giant polyline. And finish. After that, select one item, and there you go. And of course, if you're filling in something and you don't want the outline, select no outline. Again, doesn't matter what shape it is, that'll always work. So now you know how to create odd shapes, and you know how to fill them, color or outline or hatch. So I find that this particular lesson is an absolute winner for me, because it's so important. Hatching is an area where loads of people have difficulty. So what I suggest you do is go through it one at a time and learn and make sure you understand it and practice it. So just go through the video, pause it, and learn it. And I'm really pleased to be able to show you this one, because this one is really going to allow you to create some fantastic drawings. All right, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.